who knew about this?
I mean, it came out that night.
It came out?
Yeah, it came out that night. I hid it, what he was doing to me, because it became like a pattern.
Did the police get involved?
Yeah. DCFS ended up getting involved again.
And what happened to him?
Actually, that night I took his life.
Hey YouTube, welcome back to Things to Say with Kev and Dre. In today's video, Kev will interview Charlize Harris, and she is a woman's advocate. But before she got to this point, she had to go through a lot of obstacles in her life. She had a lot of disadvantages, just like most of us. However, there are certain things that are interesting about her story, so we wanted to share it with you guys. If you are watching us for the first time, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe before you leave, and hit the notification bell so you can get notified when we bring more content like this. Now, this will be part 1 of a part 2 set of videos. This is part 1. So let's get into it.
All right, guys, welcome back to this channel. This is Things to Say with Kevin Dre, and today I have a very special guest. Tell them what is her name.
Hi, I'm Charlize Harris.
Charlize Harris, and she has a very inspiring story to tell on Things to Say with Kevin Dre. This is something that needs to be said. That's why we're doing this interview. All right. So Charlize.
Yes.
Tell us about. Let's go back to where you're from. I know how many siblings and stuff like that.
I'm originally from Chicago.
You're originally from Chicago.
Yes, the west side of Chicago.
The west side of Chicago.
Yes, the west side of Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up there in Rockwell Gardens.
Rockwell Gardens, okay.
Yeah, it was the projects.
Oh, the projects, okay.
Yes.
You know what they say about the projects, right?
Yes.
So what's it like growing
up? Back then, growing up there in the projects?
Yeah, from a financial standpoint. Let's go with that first.
Oh wow, from a financial standpoint, it's crazy because you see so much. I remember back then when they had paper food stamps.
Paper food stamps.
Yeah, they got a link card now, but back then it was like paper food stamps.
Okay.
They were different colors, and you go to the store, and your mom would send you to the store with these paper, different color food stamps to buy things, and
so in other words, if it was financially difficult.
Yeah.
Because once you're talking about food stamps, we know that
yes.
there's not enough income coming in. But was mommy and daddy around, present?
Mom and dad was around, but then it was a separation. I grew up, both of my parents were addicts.
Or drug addicts?
Yes, they.
All right, we soon get around to that part.
Okay.
But so mommy and daddy was around. How many siblings?
3 at that time.
Three?
No. It's 3 of us. So at one time I had one older sister, and now I have a younger sister as well.
Okay. So you're in the middle.
Yeah, I'm in the middle.
Okay, all right. So you're growing up in the projects in Chicago.
Yes.
There was so many influences.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What was it like not to get drawn into that type of life? Or did you get drawn into that type of life?
I didn't really get drawn into it. I think maybe because some of the things I was going through growing up, I was kind of like an introvert.
Yeah.
But it wasn't difficult not to get drawn into it because I think I was afraid of what I was seeing.
Like, what are some of the things you were seeing?
It was a lot of gang banging. It was a lot of, drugs. It was a lot of abusive relationships. It was a lot of different things. It was a lot of struggle. It was a lot of, but at the same time, on the flip side, it was still like a community. It's kind of
A community
yeah, it was like a double-edged sword.
with good and bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so normally when I talk about, when people in general talk about drawn into gang or drawn into doing violence or illegal activity, the word that comes to mind is male. So does female, did female in while you were growing up got involved?
Yeah, it was females involved in gangs and violence and everything as well.
Female
Yeah.
involved in gangs and violence.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So we know that mommy and daddy was around. As we say, we soon get around to the addicts part. But what about schooling?
Like, what about it?
Yeah, like where did you went to school?
I started off elementary school. I went to U.S. Grant Elementary School.
U.S. Grant Elementary School. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
If you're watching in Jamaica, I would call that like a basic school. Because in Jamaica, because I have Jamaican audience,
Yes.
so I have to keep. I might have to keep interject to tell the viewers what that means in Jamaica. But go ahead. So you were in elementary school. That's
Yes,
your
elementary
first.
school.
That's your first school.
yeah.
Okay.
No, because you actually can do pre-K, like pre-kindergarten.
Like pre-kindergarten.
And you can do
Okay.
Head Start and all of that stuff as well.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, but that was like the main school.
Okay.
Elementary.
All right. So from elementary school, then you move on to
Then you move on to high school.
high school.
Yes.
To high school.
Yes.
While we're on the subject, what's junior high here?
Junior high,
Here in
everybody
America.
don't have junior high. Junior high is like between 6th and 8th grade. It's like between that elementary and high school phase.
Okay.
They just combine it together.
Got you. All right. So you went to high school. How was high school?
Oh, high school was a lot because I went to a lot of different high schools. I bounced around a lot, so I didn't
Wow.
have a stable high school.
All right. So you went to high school, and did you went to any other school?
Yeah, I did some college as well. Yeah, I did Malcolm X College, Kennedy King. I did a lot of different colleges.
Because of the living situation, you move around to?
No, just
college?
because different trades I was trying to take up and better myself.
Okay. What are some of these trades?
I did nursing. I started off like CNA. I did microcomputer business systems.
Oh.
Then I did medical assistant after CNA. Then I did LPN, and then I did RN.
So you did your RN.
Yes.
So you are a registered nurse.
Yes.
Wow. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, thank you.
Because the nursing field is huge here in America, but not everybody's an RN.
Yeah.
You have a lot of CNAs. Okay, all right. So you went from elementary all the way up to college.
Yes.
So it is safe to say Charlie's have a tertiary education.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
that's great. All right, so talk to us now about living situation. Because you made mention earlier that you had to move around because of living situation. Talk to us about that. What was that like, from a food standpoint, from a love standpoint, from an empathy standpoint, from while growing up?
Well, the living situation, at first it was fine, but once you get involved with the system, I ended up getting involved with DCFS custody. My mom actually lost custody of us.
DFS custody.
Yeah, DCFS custody.
And explain to us what that is.
DCFS custody is pretty much like when they feel that your parent is not fit or stable enough to raise you. So the system takes you.
So the government steps in.
The government steps in and remove you from the household.
Okay, awesome. So, because as I said, I have Jamaican audience.
Yeah.
So DFS custody, this is when the government will step in if your parents, if they feel like the parents is not doing a great job, they step in and take care of you.
Yeah, they remove you from the house.
They remove you from the
Yeah.
house. Okay, I'm trying to understand. Okay.
Yeah, they're supposed to take care of you but
Okay.
Yeah.
So they took you away from your parents. At what age was this?
I think I was around 9 or 10.
9 or 10.
No. I was a little bit older. Probably like 10, 11. Yeah. 10,
Okay.
11.
All right. So they took you away. What was happening at the time in the household? Why they feel like they had to?
Well, at that time, like I said, my parents were addicts. My mom and dad had already separated. My sister had went through some form of abuse.
Wow.
And DCFS eventually stepped in. And like I said, it was mainly because of my mom's addiction. Yeah.
How bad was the addiction?
I think she was functional, but I don't think she knew that we knew. But we knew because it was all around us, not only within the household, but you see it outside of the household. When you're walking to school, you see, the addicts, and you see the lines for drugs, and so you see a lot.
You mean a line for drugs?
Yeah.
People lining up.
Yeah, you see different
Wow.
stuff. Yeah.
In Southside Chicago.
Yeah, West Side, South Side, it's everywhere.
Wow. Okay, so because that's very interesting, because my question that I was going to ask, how does a 9-year-old know when someone is a drug addict? You know what I mean? But you have answered it because you said you've seen it all around you. What about your father now? Because you said both parents were addicts.
Yeah. My father, him and my mom separated, and she got with somebody else. So he was still somewhat involved, but I think my dad kind of stayed away a lot because of his addiction, and he didn't want to do things like to hurt us. I think he felt his addiction would cause us more harm than good. And I know he was very heartbroken by the separation with him and my mom. And I think although he was in his addiction, I think he realized that his addiction caused him to lose his family as well, because he had lost himself.
Oh, he came around to tell you that after.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. So for us to get a better understanding, how did DFS knew about the drug addiction? Why they had to come and remove you?
I think DCFS found out through the situation that my sister went through. With the abusive situation that my sister went through with my mom's boyfriend.
Wow.
And then they stepped in, and from there, everything else came out.
Because they came and did an investigation. And how did you feel?
I think I felt numb. I was afraid. I know I was afraid not only because of the situation being removed from my mom. I'm a daddy's girl.
You're a daddy's girl.
Yeah. I didn't care about the addiction. I just wanted to be around my dad. But I felt afraid. I felt confused. Yeah.
So here you are now, being taken out of your house, and you're going to live with strangers, basically, DFS, right?
No, they actually sent me. We were separated at that. My older sister went somewhere, and me and my youngest sister, my mom's sister, got us for a while. So we went to live with my aunt. 2 of us did.
Okay, so even though DFS stepped in, it doesn't mean that they took you to a facility.
I eventually ended up in a facility. I ended up in many facilities.
What was that like, living in the facility? Tell us about the facility.
The facilities were, I don't want to say challenging, but they were challenging.
From a mental standpoint?
Yes, from a mental standpoint, because you're put in this place and you see so many other kids in the same situation and you could just wonder like, wow, what's going on with them? But you so like trying to protect yourself, you don't know who to trust, who to open up to, who's for you. You still trying to protect your parents.
Yeah.
Because I know I was a little advanced for my age mentally.
Yeah.
So I always had this protection.
Okay.
So when they would ask me certain questions, like, I'll be like, no, you know, like to protect my parents still.
Okay, so question, so did you maintain relationship? Did this program allow you to maintain relationship with your mom and dad, like a visit or a phone call? Eventually?
Yeah, eventually you do get to have visitations, but it's pretty much based on what your parent is doing. They have to earn those rights.
Also, the parents have to earn the right to see.
Yeah, they have to go to rehab. They have to get clean. Then it's the visits are like monitor visits, supervised visits, when there's somebody else there in the room with you, and then eventually you work your way to the point that you can have unsupervised visits and things like that.
Okay, so you're 9-10 years old, right?
Yes.
Now, you know, kids in school, they trouble can be mean, right?
Yeah.
It's not that they're mean, they're kids.
They're the kids.
Now, did any one of them knew that you were living in a facility, and how was their reaction to you?
Some did, some didn't. The reactions to the ones that did, sometimes it's a lot of gossip. You have some that's supportive, like some of the friends that you grew up with, but when I was taken away, you're separated from those people that you grew up with. So now you're in a totally different area, a totally different school. So not only did you lose your mom, your dad, another sister went elsewhere.
Yeah.
You lost your friends, you lost the people you knew, you lost your comfortability. So I was placed in another place where I had to get to know everybody all over again, but I, again, was an introvert.
Yeah, so the trust factor, and
Yeah.
like being alone by yourself.
Yeah.
All right, so that was through, because you were 9, so that is elementary school, right?
Yeah, I'm still in elementary school.
Okay, so tell us now about high school, living in the facility. Because them kids now, they're more aware, and probably plenty of them there too, like you.
Yeah. By the time I made it to high school, my mom actually regained custody of us.
So okay. What about your father?
My father was still like out of the picture for a while. Like I would see him, like I would go find him. I would go find my dad, look for him. But yeah, he was still kind of out of the picture, still in his addiction. My mom had got sober. My dad was kind of like in and out of jail. He was homeless. Living on the streets, and I used to go find my dad though. Like none of it mattered to me. Just wanted my dad.
You just wanted your father.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel, knowing that your dad was in and out of jail and was an addict? How did that make you feel, especially to see him on the street, because you said he was homeless?
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
I think it was heartbreaking for me. Because like I said, I'm a daddy's girl. So it's like I always wanted the best for him, and I always felt like he can do better than what he was doing. At that time, I didn't understand addiction as well. I didn't understand that it really is a disease. So it was really heartbreaking for me to see my dad like that, because I seen him at the top. My dad used to do construction, and I don't know if he was.
So you have seen him at his high times.
Yeah, and then I've seen him at his lowest, and it was like, God, Daddy, what happened?
How were the other siblings coping with this, knowing that both their parents are addicts?
My little sister, I don't really think she realized what was going on.
Oh, she never realized. Okay.
My older sister, she did, but I think she kind of detached and distanced herself into like relationships.
Okay.
So at a young age, we both got in relationships.
Okay. What age is this?
I think my first relationship was like age 14, 15 years. 14. Yes.
Was that really a relationship?
Right.
Because you're 14.
Yeah, but when you're in those situations and you don't have
looking for
dad,
comfort.
You're looking for comfort, you're looking for love, and you find it in all the wrong
All the wrong places.
Yeah.
Wow.
We both had our children young, very young.
At what age?
My sister had my niece, I think, at age 15. And I think I had my firstborn at 16 years old.
Wow. How was that? Because remember, you know,
Yeah.
you're still in high school.
Yeah.
Because now we have to correlate how you dealt with that to go on and become an RN.
Yeah.
So tell us about now when the kid came in. Where were you living at the time when the kid came in at 16? Because you did say your mom came back and
She
Okay, gotcha. Still in Chicago?
Yeah, I was still in Chicago.
Okay.
Actually, I was with my mom. I was living with my mom at that time.
Or did mom took that to know that both are daughters? Like, is this a story of people of color? Were you thinking? Was mom thinking about that, or even mention it?
You know what? What I think it was, I think my mom had a lot of guilt.
Guilt.
So
she was okay.
She wasn't so much okay with it, but she knew it was nothing she can do to change it at that time. I think it was more so of where do we go from here? She was trying to be more supportive than what she was in the past. So I know it was hard on her, but she actually supported us. My sister actually had her baby while we were in DCFS custody. Like I said, I was back in my mom's custody at the time when I got pregnant, but I was pregnant way before then. It just was a lot of miscarriages and stillborns and
miscarriages.
Yeah.
You were having miscarriages.
Yeah, and still, I remember my baby. I gave birth to him. I was in DCFS custody. My mom came up there, and he didn't make it. He was about, he could fit in the palm of my hand. He had all his body parts, but
how many miscarriages did you?
I had quite
If you care to share.
Yeah, I had quite a few miscarriages. I think my body was just too young. Yeah.
But if you're in DFS, how do you get a chance to have a relationship?
Because I was on the run. I was in DCFS custody. They put me with my aunt. I don't really think my auntie liked me because if we take it back a little bit further, before going into DCFS, at around age 5, my aunt and her family used to live with my mom and dad. And I had an older cousin, which was her son, and he began to molest me.
You were molested by who? Say that again?
My cousin, which is my mom's sister's son. And so this began at like age 5, which I think was the beginning of me becoming an introvert.
Oh, good. So you were start being molested at about age 5, 6.
Yeah, age 5.
Did you know what it was? That it was molestation?
No, I knew it wasn't right when he was.
But you knew it wasn't felt right.
Yeah.
Wow. Looking back, because you're an adult now.
Yes.
How do you feel to know that you were actually molested at age 5?
It's heartbreaking because it affected me in so many ways. It affected me mentally, emotionally, spiritually, because I didn't understand, like, God, why is this happening? Like, why is this going on with me? I didn't understand it. Yeah, I didn't understand it. So it was difficult. It was very difficult. Because when I first told what he had been doing, because he used to make a lot of threats, like, if you ever tell, nobody gonna believe you, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna beat you, and I'm gonna, the threats.
Drove fear in you.
Yeah, I had fear. He put
fear,
yes. He put fear in me. So when I finally feel like
People doubted you.
yeah, they kind of brushed it off. Even my parents, I feel like it was their addiction though. Like they were so caught up in their addiction. I remember my aunties, which was his mother, flipping it and was like, oh, y'all be watching pornos in front of her or something. Y'all gotta watch what y'all do in front of her. Like I was using my imagination about what had went on. Like, no, that wasn't an imagination, that was real. So after I told and nothing really happened, it got worse.
So the molestation continued.
Until around age 9, yeah, until a little bit before like DCFS custody. But at this time, that's when he started to penetrate me, because I think he got so confident in what he had already been telling me, like, nobody's gonna believe you. And now that I told and nothing happened, I think that gave him the confidence to say, yeah, I can take this further. And he sexually abused me in the worst ways. Yeah.
Wow. I'm really, really sorry that you had to deal with that. Because I have 4 sisters.
Yeah.
That's just not right.
Yeah.
Okay. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
And this is why the idea of the channel, Things to Say with Kevin Dre, these things need to be said.
Yeah, I agree.
He damaged you.
Yeah, in so many ways. So many
He damaged you.
ways.
It's easier to get a broken hand than be hurt mentally like that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Because you see, the broken hand would get better.
Yeah.
All right. So let's segue out of that. Tell us about now when you found out that you were pregnant, given all what has been happening around you. Parents are addicts, sister being abused, taken out of your house.
Yeah.
Now, in the middle of that, the torpedo came. You're pregnant.
Yeah. When I
Walk
found
us
out-
back through that.
Actually, like I said, I was before my son that actually survived. I had miscarriages and stillborns. I think I was searching for love so much that I actually wanted a child.
Okay, so you wanted a child. Okay.
I wanted a child.
Okay.
I wanted to know what unconditional love was like.
Yes.
I wanted to be loved. My son's father, he was young, but he was about 4 or 5 years older than me actually. But he was abusive. So during being in DCFS, like I said, the same auntie they put me with, that was the auntie whose son molested me.
Wow.
So she didn't really like me because I told her son. So
She didn't like you.
Yeah, she didn't like me. I remember going to his court dates with her. He caught a case, not for what he did to me, but he shot somebody in the head, and he caught a case. And while living under her household, I remember she had me at every court date for him. And I felt like I was standing there supporting my abuser. I was young, but back to the pregnancy part. I went on a run. He was supposed to be coming home from prison, and I was living there, and that's where he was coming. So I ran away.
So out of fear, you ran away.
Yes, I ran away.
Okay.
I ran away.
And where did you run to?
I was kind of homeless. I was living on the streets, and then I was kind of living.
Okay, stop right there. So because he was coming
Yes.
out of fear, you ran away.
Yes.
And you were on the streets.
Yeah.
How long you were on the streets for?
Back and forward, because I was living with my son's dad, but we didn't have the child yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were on the streets whilst you were pregnant?
No.
Okay.
Before I got pregnant, I was on a run, but I was spending nights at his house.
Okay.
Well, at his mom's house, because it wasn't his house.
It wasn't his house.
Right, he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
young too.
Yeah.
But I really had no safe place. I really had no place called home. And I would run and I would find my mom and things like that. But that led to more abuse, by her boyfriend. So that led to a terrible situation that damaged me even more. But,
Wow. Sexual abuse?
yeah, more abuse. So DCFS didn't really help me. It actually made things worse.
So not only you got abused by a cousin, son, but you also got abused sexually by your
Mom's boyfriend.
mom's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Did you tell your mom?
Yeah, she kind of found out. The situation ended up being tragic. I ended up losing my little sister due to it. He actually killed her. He dropped out the 7th floor window. He beat me that day. My face was disfigured. Fractured ribs.
Who knew about this?
It came out that night.
It came out?
Yeah, it came out that night. I hid it, what he was doing to me, because it became like a pattern.
Did the police
If
get
you tell-
involved?
Yeah. DCFS ended up getting involved again.
And what happened to him?
Actually, that night I took his life.
Wow.
Yeah, I took his life that night.
You dropped your sister through the window.
Yeah, he dropped out the 7th floor window. I remember the night so vividly. He was accusing my mom of cheating. He thought my little sister was actually my dad's child. I remember he had already been sexually, abusing me. I remember laying on the couch, trying to pretend like I'm asleep. Peeking out my eyes, though, he slapped my mom. She hit the ground. He called himself making up. He gave her drug money. Like, go get some drugs. And now she left. And I remember when the door closed, I was like, oh my God, it's gonna happen. Because when she leaves, that's what he would do. So I tried to fake sleep. And I remember him walking over to the couch, but I'm peeking, but I'm trying to fake sleep to prevent him from, and my little sister I guess, walked in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
She was only like 2.
Wow.
And he walked off, and I was like, I kind of had this relief, like, okay, it's not gonna happen today. He's not gonna do it to
He's
me.
not going to sexually abuse you.
Yeah, but to my surprise, I heard my little sister screaming in the back room. And I tried, I'm like, no, maybe she just cried. And I heard her screaming at the top of her lungs. And I heard the words, stay still, be quiet. Those words, I heard them so many times from him. I remember jumping up, and like the kitchen and the projects is like right there. I grabbed the knife out the it was a little knife thing that hold knives, and I ran to the back room. And when I opened that door, he was on top of my baby sister, sexually abusing her. The sheets were bloody. Her diaper, she had like a pull-up. It sat in a corner. The room leaked of alcohol and drugs. I ran in the room and I stuck the knife in his back. And he like arched, like he jumped up. And he turned to me like, he like grabbed me, hit me, smacked me. I remember falling until it was like a little nightstand. And like I was on the ground and he was like taking like the knife out like his back, and he like came towards me. It was like an ashtray sitting on the nightstand. I picked it up, I threw it at him, and like it hit him. I took off running down the hallway. I went in another room where like my dad and them used to hold their gun or whatever. I went in a closet. I'm searching for the gun. Like, God, please help me. I'm searching. He took pursuit behind me though, so he's at the door banging on the door. Open this door, I'm gonna kill you. open the door. He's screaming. I'm nervous. I remember finally, like I moved some boxes and in a shoebox, there was the gun. And it's like I paused, like in a moment of relief, like, okay, safety. But his words, I guess he was walking away. He was like, okay. He called me out my name. He was like, okay, little bitch, you can kiss being a big sister bye. And that kind, I didn't know what he meant by it.
You can kiss being a good sister bye.
A big sister bye.
Yeah.
But I remember grabbing a gun. I went back and unlocked the room door. And when I made it to the room, he was sitting on the windowsill. He had my little sister upside down out the window.
You had your sister upside down outside the window from the 7th floor.
Yeah, he taunted me. He kept lifting her up, raising her, and I'm pointing the gun, but I can't shoot because he don't trouble. And I'm pleading with him, like, please, please, just put her back in. Please, please, don't do it, please. I'll give you what you want. I pleaded sexual favors. Yeah, I pleaded sexual favors. Telling him I would do it. Just please put her back in. I'll do this, I'll do that. I just for him to put her back in. But he just marked me, made fun of me. Look at you crying. So I kind of hate the cry to this day because it makes me feel weak. It takes me back to that moment. And he just marked me. He just made fun of me. You're not gonna shoot nobody. You're not gonna do it. You're a little punk. You this, you that. You're not gonna never be nobody. Nobody's never gonna love you. But he's still lifting her up.
Still hold her outside.
Blood is running down.
To jump her from the 7th floor.
Blood is running down my sister upside down from her. And
where was your mom in all of this?
she wasn't there.
She wasn't there.
Get the drugs. He sent her and so
Okay.
he gave her the money to go get drugs. And he lifted her up, and like I was the closest thing to my baby sister. Nobody even knew about my mom's pregnancy. Nobody knew, like she hid it from DCFS, she hid it from my sisters because of judgment. I have delivered my baby sister on a dirty mattress on a project floor. My little sister was born in secrecy.
Hold on. So you deliver
I helped my mom, yes.
your sister at home.
Because nobody could know.
Because,
Nobody could know that my mom's got
okay,
pregnant.
midwife. I guess I have to find a joke in all of this.
Yeah. And that man actually lifted her up, and she's like reached her arms out for me.
So because you're very connected to your sister, 'cause you delivered this baby in that same house. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, what was that experience?
That is,
Because how old were you delivering the baby? I want to go to the delivery part. How old were you?
I was young. Like,
You knew what you were doing?
no, it's just my mom was giving birth. He didn't want, if it was his baby, he didn't want the baby to be born because he didn't want the baby to be going into DCF custody. And had my mom, like DCFS didn't even know, my mom stopped coming to visits, everything to hide this pregnancy. Had she given birth, they would have taken that baby as well because we were already in DCFS custody. So she would have gave birth and DCFS would have taken the baby.
Wow.
And he used to make threats like, my baby not gonna be born in DCFS if that's my baby. And so when she gave birth, he did not let her go to the hospital. pushing her baby.
Wow.
We had to hide this for so long. We hid it from my sisters. We hid like this. I recently told my sisters about everything.
Was the baby okay?
Yeah, Princess, she was good.
Thank God. To God be the glory.
Yeah, yes.
Whew.
And that's what made me continue to come around. Although what he was doing to me, it was like I fed my little sister.
Yes.
The things I found or the food I found, I would get like, that was my little baby, you know.
Wow.
I had to protect her.
This story is unbelievable. All right. So you dropped your sister.
Yeah.
Come on, move on from that part. You dropped your sister.
Yeah.
And what happened? The cops came.
Yeah, he dropped her. I ran to the window, like he hopped off the windowsill. I ran to the window, like to try to catch her.
Yeah.
And the sound, I would never forget the sound of her body smashing against the concrete downstairs. It's a distinctive sound that's unforgettable.
Anyone saw
Yeah.
when she fell?
When after like she fell, after everything happened, that's when he beat me. I was hanging out the window like, and that's how I heard her body and seen her body. And I got punched in the back of the head. Ow. He grabbed me and he beat the hell out of me in there. Then he pretty much made me pick up where he left off with her. And he sexually assaulted me. And during his weak moment, that's when I pulled the trigger.
Okay. Whew. And the cops came.
Yeah, when they made it, I don't even know how I made it downstairs. I was balled up and my baby sister's over her body in her blood. I heard it was a crowd of people. I kept going in and out. I remember, I don't know who the EMT was, but I remember them just kept telling me, like, stay with me, stay with me. I kept getting it faintly.
Because you were beaten a lot.
Yeah, I coded.
Yeah.
Later, like I was told from other people, they said I kept asking for my daddy. Because they say the EMT kept saying, what you saying? What are you saying?
Yeah.
And I was asking, I wanted my dad.
You know, this is tough to listen to, right? We're doing an interview, but this is... All right. Okay. That's how you ended up in... So the cops came, because I want to move on. So the
cops came.
Uh-huh.
I ended up in a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
To my understanding, they pronounced my baby sister dead on sight. I ended up in a hospital. Once I regained because I coded, so they rushed me to the hospital.
Coded meaning you flatline?
Yes.
You flatline, okay.
Once I regained conscious in the hospital, I woke up attached to all type of machines, of course. Like I said, didn't even recognize my face. It was so, it didn't even look like me. He beat me that bad. That's when, of course, they figure out, like I'm involved in DCFS, the police come and all of that stuff. Now my mom has come to everything. Like,
everybody came.
Yes, but they couldn't really 100% question me because I wasn't in a good state.
Yeah.
But it turns out that his family wanted to press charges against me.
And that's what happened.
No, what saved me from a case back at that age was his DNA on my little sister and my mouth. The swab of his DNA, because his family wanted it to be, I didn't like him, I was a daddy's baby. like he was trying to protect my little sister from me. That's why he have a knife wound in his back. They wanted me arrested.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what saved me was.
All right. So, wow. So you're out the hospital now. How long did you spend in the hospital?
Oh, I think I was in there for a few weeks.
Few weeks. You were
Yeah.
badly injured.
Yeah, I was badly injured. My ribs was fractured. I had a head injury.
Okay.
Face disfigured. Yeah. And then from there, I never got the help. Like, I never got healing from it. They put me in a mental hospital.
So you were in a mental hospital for how long?
They put me there. I was there for at least a month or so. Yeah, but it was no healing. It was just like, shut up and take it. Get over it.
No healing,
No counseling.
no counseling, nothing.
Nothing. As I always say,
Okay, you were still a teenager. Were you?
I didn't even make it to be a teenager at that point in time.
Okay.
This was before the 14 years even came to play.
We soon get into that, like how that tie into all of this. All right. So you knew. So at the time you were still a teenager, right?
Preteen.
Preteen. You came out of the hospital. So you were preteen. Preteen when this happened.
Yeah, this was before me having a child. This was before any of that.
So you were like 12 years old.
Exactly.
Hold on.
Exactly.
So at 12-year-old, before you were 12, you even delivered your sister.
Yes.
Wow. This has to be a
Yeah.
okay, all right. And then you went to the hospital after all that drama took place, right?
Yeah.
You dropped your sister through the window. Nobody could deny that.
Yeah.
Because your sister was in the street. Lots of people were there.
Yeah.
Cops came. Crowd. And you were taken to the hospital.
Yes.
Because you were badly beaten
Yes.
by him.
Yes.
And you came out mental hospital for 1 month, and then you were sent back where?
DCFS custody.
DCFS custody.
Different foster homes, group homes. Never stable. No stability.
Never stable.
No stability. Never had a stable upbringing except when my mom and dad lived together.
Yeah.
Although they were addicts, it was still stable. We had a roof over our head. We had food to eat. Going to school like it was a family. I don't even know how to. I don't want to say like how to be a family, but I don't even know what like family vibes are.
Up until this day.
Up until
Yeah.
I had my kids and I wanted to give them something different.
Yeah. Yeah. We soon get around to that. So you came out of the hospital, went to the mental thing, rehab, a mental facility, not mental rehab,
Right.
mental facility. They think you were crazy when you really needed help.
Yes.
Okay, so that finished now, and you went, and then you went to other foster homes,
Yeah.
moving up and down. How was that? Because I want to transition now into high school, that's where I want to transition go.
Right. That was difficult as well because even within there, sometimes you go to school within a facility, but it just wasn't home. I wanted my mom. I wanted my dad. So I would really go on the run, still looking for mom and dad. I didn't trust the system. I didn't trust adults, honestly. It was more so just telling me what to do, but I didn't understand how are you telling me these things, but you're not protecting me.
Yeah.
I
especially when they know that the other person was no longer here.
Well, my father, he never knew none of it. This was just me telling like DCFS and the system. And my mom actually told, when I laid in that hospital bed, that's when she really got sober.
Oh, wow.
She got sober. She promised me. Her head was implanted in my side, and she just cried. She was like, "I'm sorry, I'm done. I promise you, I'm done. I'm giving it up. I promise."
Where she
you."
finished?
And she got clean. She never. Before then, she would relapse from that day forward, and that's how she was able to regain custody of us.
And she's clean.
My mom eventually passed. She's passed away now.
Oh, your mom passed away.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she passed away in 2008.
2008?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Condolences.
Thank you.
Because this time you were still in DC.
No, by that time, 2008, I was already an adult.
You're an adult.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were able to be at your mom's funeral.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you're let's go down to high school.
Okay.
So you were still in DCFS while you were in high school.
No, I was back with my mom.
You were back with your mom.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? Let us stretch. Being in high school, coming home to your mom every day. That must have felt better.
Yeah, it felt better, but I think I still had resentment.
Yes.
And I think I wanted to hold her, keep on her P's and Q's. I always felt like if I showed her that I loved her so much, that she would get comfortable and go back to using drugs.
And go back and
She would
using
forget the
drugs.
struggle.
She would forget the struggle. Wow.
And I didn't want her to forget the struggle, so I gave
So
my
you were
mom-
balancing all of that as a young
Yeah.
person.
So I gave my mom hell, actually. I regret it. I regret it because I gave her hell. I didn't want her to know how much I loved her.
You don't want her to get back into.
Yeah, but I
Relapsing.
loved her more than she can ever know.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved her more than she can ever know. And I never got the chance to tell her that because eventually she passed. And I was still trying to prove a point, holding her accountable for the past.
Mm-hmm.
So she passed away without knowing just how much I love her and how proud of her I was.
Wow. All right. So, wow.
Yeah.
All right. So, you finish high school.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Actually, no, I didn't finish high
You
school
did
at
not-
first.
oh, so you-
Eventually, I did. I hopped around from school to school because I was rebellious.
Okay.
You know, I didn't want anybody telling me anything, like the teachers, the security. I didn't trust.
Nobody.
Yeah, I had this
Because up until 12, you had lived a full life already.
Yeah.
You had a lot of mileage already
Yeah.
on your body
Yeah.
and on life itself.
Yeah. So I didn't trust.
And throughout all of that, you were always protecting yourself.
Yeah,
You have to
protecting myself
fight for
and
yourself.
protecting others.
Yeah. You were carrying, so you had lived a full life
Yeah.
already at 12.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. So you finished high school
Yeah, eventually.
eventually,
Yeah.
and then you went to.
Actually, during high school, even when I wasn't doing high school, like I said, I was always advanced mentally. Even my teachers used to say, she's so smart.
Yeah.
She's so intelligent. It's just her behavior.
Yeah.
But so I was actually, even when I wasn't in school, I was taking college courses. That's when I took my microcomputer business systems.
Okay.
Because I would take this test. It's called the Ability to Benefit Test.
Why would you take college course when you're dealing with all of this stress? So even though you were in it, dealing with all of this stress, family issue, bouncing from DC,
Right.
foster homes to foster home, both period drug addicts, you still find the time to take college course.
Yeah.
Where that determination come from?
I gave birth to my first son, my child that actually survived. And that feeling was for the first time I knew what unconditional love was like. I knew what it was to be loved with no conditions. I call him my first true love. My first son.
What is he now?
He's 24 now.
So your son is 24.
Yeah.
Shout out to your son.
Yes. That's my first true love.
Yeah, yeah,
So I knew I needed different.
yeah.
And I just thrived. I knew I had to be better than what I had experienced. I knew I had to be better than what my parents were during their addictions. And I just,
You have gotten enough examples from your parents what you don't want to be.
right, what I didn't want to be and what I did not want for my child.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just went for it.
Wow. Okay, so your son came and changed all of that.
Yeah.
All right. And then now you went to nursing school because you were a CNA first.
Yeah.
And then you became a
I started out doing a lot of like market research.
market researcher.
Yeah, because I had to make a living.
Yes.
I had to make a living. So I was actually too young to even be doing a lot of jobs that I was doing. That's how I know it was nothing but the grace of God, because I was actually too young working in a John Hancock building and doing market research. And I was too young, but I had to provide for my child.
For
I had
your
to provide for me as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then from there, that's when I started to take other courses and stuff.
And you went to and you became an RN.
Yeah, I did CNA, then I did medical assistant. From there, I ended up working at a daycare while I was going to school for medical assistant. From there, I opened my own daycare.
You opened your own daycare.
Yeah, I had my own daycare at like 20 years old.
You, Charles.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so you open your own daycare, and then now that this whilst you were going to nursing school.
Yes.
Okay, what college did you went to?
I started off at Olympia, and then I did my LPN Brown Mackey.
Brown Mackey.
Yeah, and then I went back Kennedy King.
Kennedy King. And you all right. Tell me about that feeling when you graduated. Having gone through all what you have been through.
No, the feeling was bittersweet for which part, which
When you-
level?
when you-
LPN?
No, when you became an RN.
That part was bittersweet because at the time when I finished my RN, I had to go take my state boards and everything. I took it. I went to prison.
We didn't come to that. I want to talk about the graduation part, the day of the graduation.
I didn't make it.
You didn't make it?
Yes.
Oh, so you did make it. So you did your state board?
I passed.
And you
I
passed?
found out. I found out. I was working as an LPN. I found out while I was locked up that they brought my stuff up there and was like, you passed.
Yeah.
It was bittersweet.